Hello everyone, my name is Jeffrey and welcome back for episode 32 of the Satisfactory series here on YouTube. In this video we're tackling part 3 of our basic item mega factory. It's time to finish placing the last of the machines on the top floor, followed by more belt work than I can stay sane for. Thank you for all the support and help with the series so far. Let's get to playing games. Alright, who's ready to place more belts than they've ever placed in their entire life? We have so many machines to hook up. We have all our truck stations to hook up as well. We have a lot of work to do today. So thank you guys for coming back here for another episode. It's another building episode. Continuing off with this mega factory. So the first things I'm going to want to do though is I'm going to want to finish putting in the assemblers. We need, what was it? 26 assemblers. All up on that top floor there. Then I'll do a quick little power montage, hooking all our machines to, not necessarily to actual power, but I'll put in those big tower crosses with the power on them. And then we will move on to the massive amount of belt work that we're going to need. So in order to do the 26 assemblers, you are going to need to bring 208 reinforced iron plates, 104 rotors, and 260 cables. I'm bringing way more reinforced iron plates than I need because I'm probably going to need some of these for doing belts. And then we will, oh, lights just came on. The sun must be going down. I'll meet you guys over there. Hopefully the sun will be coming up. All right, the sun has come up and we are ready to place some assemblers. So I'm going to keep these separated as well as we've been doing on all the other floors. We need one assembler for an AI limiter. We need 10 assemblers for reinforced iron plates. We need another 10 assemblers for modular frames and another 5 to do rotors. So I think I'll start on the very end here. I'll do one assembler in this little section, and that could be my AI limiter. Let's go up here. There we go. Let's go ahead and grab our first assembler. We're going to be leaving lots of space for everything here. Okay, I think that ends up being a good space for it. We got 4 in there, 4 in there, and 4 in there. So that'll be the one that we need to do AI limiters. And then now I can do my larger rows. So I think what I'll do is here I'll try and do a row of 5. I'm going to leave a really good amount of space in between because obviously I have all this room to work with. So I think what I'll do the same thing that I did there where it's at least 4 on each side. And then I like to just nudge them. Oh wait, this is facing the wrong way. There we go. I like to nudge them just ahead by 1 and have the back part lining up with the foundation back there. Just for my lifts that I usually feed them with. I think this makes it a little bit cleaner. So we go 1. How much space do I want in between? So we got enough room that we could fit 5. So let's say we want it to be like, no, I want it lined up with the other one. Why not? Whatever. It would be right there. Line up with the other one. And then what's the middle of these two? Probably about right there. And then one like, what's the middle here? Can I even get in the middle? I may have to do some careful nudging. It's really hard to see. No, I think that's right in the middle. Seems like it. Here, I'll be able to tell. Let me check really quick. Here we go. I had to use walls to figure where the middle was. It was slightly complicated. So it is like if you're placing it normally, I had to nudge it over with my control, just a little small click. So I'll show you how I did it here. So we're going to go grab a wall there. we are going to nudge it so the end of it lines up with the hitbox there. And same thing on this side. Then we grab an assembler. And then as you can see, it doesn't quite want to sit perfectly in the middle, no matter what you do. So we're going to hold control and shift it over just a little tiny bit like that. And then it's perfectly split across the way here. Now I'll get rid of these little walls. I'm just going to shift them back by one. So like here's where they are now. I'm going to line them up with here instead. Just because we're getting a little too close to that assembler. So I just want to make sure I have lots and lots. We have so much space to work with up here. Let's make sure we spread out. There we go. Group of 5 assemblers, and these are all going to be doing rotors. So all the assemblers on this floor can all be set to 100%. No one needs to be downclocked. No one needs to be overclocked. Everything's nice and even up here. These are AI limiters. So now we need 2 groups of 10 of the assemblers. 1 group of 10 making reinforced iron plates. 1 group of 10 making modular frames. So I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to line them up kind of just going down along this way. We'll do 10 on either side. They'll probably face the same way just because I think it'll look a little bit better that way. Or maybe it'll look better with it like split down the middle. We'll kind of see how we go. But essentially what I want to do is I'm going to give myself lots of space in between these. I mean lots of space. Give me like a 1, 2, 3, 4 and go like this far, 5. And then we can sort of line up over here. I'll have 1 there. And then figure out how we're going to fit 10 in here. Probably won't be able to do the same spacing we did over there. Probably going to have to, you know what, I'll put down, let's do like, actually this didn't even have that much. Let's see how much space I can get away with here. I want to put down what would be, I guess it would technically be 20. And then I'll see if I can take out 10. Okay, so I mean, it technically did fit, but the only problem would have been when we swapped to the other side, it would interfere with the stairwell over there. So we're gonna have to make them a little bit closer together. So I think what I'll do then is we'll go 1, 2, we'll go 1. This is like right next to each other. So go 1, 2, 3. Actually, wait. I was gonna say this actually isn't even the right. This one isn't even in the right spot. It should be there. Maybe we'll just go like every other foundation. That should be enough space, right? Let me start from this one though. That should be enough space, right? Yeah. Okay, so every other foundation, we'll put them down, and we need a total of 10. There we go. 2 rows of 10. Did the same thing on this side, where it's just 4 in from the outside wall there. The same thing over here, 4 in from the outside wall. And then the one singular block separating them. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on both sides. So one side is modular frames, one side's reinforced iron plates. So that would technically be the assembly floor taken off our to-do list, thankfully. And then, so the other cool part is, so some of these assemblers that make, or whichever side I make it, that make the reinforced iron plates, some of them are going to be feeding into our, what we use for crafting. And then some of them are actually just going to be looping back around to whatever the other side is, to be making the modular frames. So that'll be a nice, the modular frames will be pretty easy to feed because it's just rods and reinforced iron plates. All right, so now that our assembly floor is done up above, we can now move on to doing our quick little power montage. Before we hook all our belts and everything up, I will work on getting all the, actually, should I maybe do I think I should probably do the splitters and everything first, then I know where to put all the power poles. So let's actually do that in reverse. Let's jump now into hooking up at least all the constructor, or at least all the constructors, belts and splitters and mergers and all that stuff. That way I'll have a better idea where I can put the power poles. So we are going to need, oh boy, quite a few splitters and mergers, and a lot of belts varying from Mark 1 to Mark 3 and even 4. That'll be split across everything. So we did get, at the end of the last episode, we did get all the belt work done for at least down here. So that stuff's all ready to go. So let's just jump into doing the constructor floor, and then we'll move up onto the assembly floor, and then we'll do our power montage. What happened to my to-do list? So I'll start back here with the Caterium. It should be pretty straightforward. We just got these two that make 200. So we can go ahead and just put some mergers on the back for these. We'll send them, this one that way, this one forward. Actually no, I'll send it down the other way. Send it down to the right. And then we got some splitters for this. So we go splitter, first one here, second one there. We're gonna feed them from this side. I'm going to try and keep them all like coming in from the, like they'll be fed from the left side and they'll go out on the right side. Hopefully that keeps things a little bit more cleaner for me and I won't forget about all these things in the future. So we got splitters there. Forgot to hook up the belts. These ones are all just Mark 1s. These 6, I believe they share the 60 Caterium ingots, and these only output a total of 100. So it's Mark 1 conveyor belt to there, a Mark 2 conveyor belt coming out from there, just so I remember. Give me a Mark 1 conveyor belt feeding these, because it's only 10 per minute here, 10 per minute here. So now we'll do the mergers for this line behind it. Tuck them in like that. And this outputs a total of 200. So that's when, so that's 50 each. So it'd be 50, this would be Mark 1. Then we'll go to Mark 2 because this would be 100 coming out of here. 150 coming out of here, so we'd actually need Mark 3. And then 200, we can still stay with the Mark 3. And then this is also a very small feed, so this can all be Mark 1 conveyor belts. This only takes 40 per minute, so it's all just a Mark 1 conveyor belt line. So for the copper, this first set here, this is 2 making 60, and they intake 30 per minute. So we'll just do our very easy splitters here with a Mark 1 conveyor belt feeding them. Kind of interested to like think about how I would set up these in the future as blueprints, but I'm assuming people probably just use whatever their fastest belt is that they have available. To connect the machines when you're doing the blueprints. You don't worry quite as much about like balancing the numbers out, if like to make them nice and full if you want to, but let me know how you guys do it. Like how do you set up your blueprints with your belts and stuff? Because I'm thinking about doing that coming up here soon. Like I think I mentioned before, just kind of hanging out in the Discord and doing some blueprints and hanging out with you guys, see if we can bounce some ideas off each other, come up with some cool stuff. Maybe it'll help me a lot going forward. So just some Mark 1 conveyor belts coming out of here. These only output a total of 60. So this would just be a Mark 1 conveyor belt. And then these 4 are going to output 120 wire. And they're going to take in still just 60. So Mark 1 conveyor belts, at least in the beginning here. So we got our splitters going in. Mark 1 conveyor belt manifold line here feeding these. Now we'll set up our mergers, and the mergers are going to have to eventually become Mark 2. So output of 30, so we got 30 coming out here into 60. 90, so we'll go to Mark 2 and still stay at Mark 2. Oh, this factory's starting to get some life to it. It's going to look great. It's going to look really good when it's all said and done. So that is the 6 constructors doing copper wire. And we got these ones doing copper sheets. Which is also a lot of Mark 1 conveyor belts. So make sure you got a lot of iron sheets on it. Or make sure you have a lot of iron plates. That's what I meant to say there. So we're going to go mergers on the back. Oh wait, those are a little bit off. My bad. There we go. Mark 1 conveyor belts coming out of there. This whole output is only like, what was it, 25 per minute? So, or 20 per minute, something like that. Actually, I don't remember now, but. So we got our splitters going in. They're in the right spot now. What do you guys take? Still just the Mark 1 conveyor belts. Oopsie. There we go. We got our other copper sheets. Still a 60 line and a 60 line. Okay, so literally everyone's basically getting the Mark 1 conveyor belts. For now, anyway. It'll probably change here pretty soon. Yep, I needed more iron plates. So let me go load up on, I'm probably going to be using a lot of Mark 1 conveyor belts. So let me go load up on just a buttload of iron plates and then we'll be back. All right, iron plates have been acquired. Let's put in a bunch of these belts. And then back to mergers. I guess that's also why we're going through so many iron plates. Is they're literally used for pretty much everything we're currently building. Yeah, output here is a total of 30. That's still just a nice Mark 1 conveyor belt. I'm so glad I left myself at least I would have ideally left myself a little bit more space. But this is definitely way more space than we usually have. And I'm feeling a lot more confident that I'll be able to keep this a lot more organized. Be able to throw some cool decorations in. And there's plenty of room to walk in between the machines, even without walkways. I mean, we'll still have walkways and stuff in here, but it's nice to actually have a little bit more space to work with and not be like, not have absolutely no room to breathe. So that is all, that's all the copper and the caterium finished. So now we're going to go into all of our variety of iron things, starting with the iron rods here. So we're going to go, I think these all stay together, if I remember correctly. Okay, these ones aren't set. What were these? It's a set of 5. This was supposed to be... Oh, these are supposed to be iron plates. My bad. Okay, I remember. This is supposed to be a set of 5 doing 100. Okay, there we go. Now I remember. Okay, so yeah, let's do the rods first. That's these 7, or that's these 8 and these 7. So we're going to combine these all together, going down this way. And they would make a total of 15 times 8 is 120. So we got 15 into 30, 45, 60 right here. So 75 coming out of there, into 90 coming out of there, 105 into 120. And then you're going to need a Mark II conveyor belt feeding this manifold line. It's pretty easy. So we got 1, 2. Yeah, I think this is where having the blueprints is nice, because then you don't have to be hooking up belts every time you're making like seas of machines like this. There we go. There's that line all set up for those rods. Now do the same thing for these two these two lines, and then we can go from there. It's actually going to be literally the exact same, pretty much just copy and paste what we just did. There we go. Literally copy and pasted. The same thing. This is all along here. Goes right here. Get your input line of 120. Get your output line of 120. So now we have these 20 constructors all doing plates. So these 5 are all going to stay separated. And these 3 will eventually be combined together, but I'll probably just do that on the floor below. Let's put in some more splitters. We got splitters. This one we're gonna keep facing left as best I can. I'm gonna make sure I remember doing that. I think the hardest part really is going to be once we actually get to the logistics floors. Just a sad little basement life I'm gonna have to spend. So this can also be, what's this, 5 times, oh, this is gonna be a Mark III conveyor belt. It's gonna be fed by 150. Right, 30 times 5. Just double check so I don't feel dumb. 30 times 5, correct. So there we go. Now we're gonna grab some mergers. I think this one I'm actually going to send back this way again, just because it might end up being a little bit tight in here if I don't. So this is the one exception to the rule I'm going to make. Where it comes in, goes back out the same way. 20 into 40, there's 60. Oops. There we go. Mark II conveyor belt to finish that off, because it puts out 100. Okay, now we're just gonna do the same thing along here. Ooh, tight squeeze. These ones I'm gonna feed. It seems like we got a lot of extra space coming from down here, so oops, that was not where that was supposed to go. Sometimes I'm clicking too fast. So these can all get, if these are all 5s, these are all going to get fed the same as the other one. Oh, Mark III conveyor belt, I mean. Fed by 150. Yeah, because there's only a small drop between the ingot to the plates. I don't know what that exact percentage is, but I think it's like a 50% loss. So we'll just keep putting all our splitters along here. And then everyone is always, I don't know when, I'm sure eventually there's going to be a time where I feed things without just a Mark I conveyor belt. It happens very rarely though. It's usually when you're doing stuff with screws, because screws, you have so many screws. Not in my recipes though. Okay, so Mark III conveyor belt between all our splitters here. Not like that. Just make it extremely difficult for no reason. So after we finish up this episode, I think I've got it planned out where so today we got like the assemblers, we got all our like all our belts and everything we're gonna hook up, and we're gonna hook up like the power towers. I think in the next episode we'll actually go through and hook up the actual power stuff, and then we'll also end up doing the truck lines. But before we do the truck lines, we actually have to set up a little bit of a storage area back at the main base. So we will be having to leave this area for just a little part of this build, because I wasn't really prepared for the actual, you know, moving of all the goods. Should I do the same thing? Should I send it back down here? I mean, I have a lot of extra room down here, so. No, I guess because I'll lose some of that room, so we'll send them all down to the right. Yeah, so with the next episode, and then hopefully be the final episode, we'll do that, but then we'll also be hooking, like, turning the factory on, obviously. And then beyond that, I'm assuming it's probably going to take me actually like a couple episodes to decorate all of this, because I really want to take some time and make this like truck entrance area really cool. I want to make the factory itself really cool. Like, I want to take some time, make this the best one we've done so far. Because I feel like this is definitely one of the more eye-catching factories we've done so far. So there's all our belts coming out. What? What? Sometimes it's so weird placing them. There we go. And one more down here. Set up our line of splitters just like that. These guys actually lined up? Yeah, okay. I think my eyes are just playing tricks on me again. I'm a blind man. Oops. Oopsie. I guess let me put power tower on my hotbar. There we go. Those are all fed. Then set our merger lines. Man, I can't imagine the work it is to when you do like logistics. I've seen people do it where they do logistics floors and they feed every machine like it's like up and like there's no, you never see the items. It's like in and out, and it's just like there must be so much belt work going on down below. And I mean, I'm already gonna have plenty, but I think it's wild. So we got 1, 2, 3. Oop. Mark 1 conveyor belt there. 2 coming out. It's just so I remember. Yeah, it may look like I have a lot of extra space on this outside, but I mean, I also haven't done any of the inputs yet, so. Or really the outputs. All right, we're moving on to screws. It's about time. So just to speed things along a little bit, I think here I'm just gonna pop in all the splitters and mergers, and then I'll just kind of go over like the line counter if you guys need to follow along with. But yeah, let me just throw in the mergers and splitters really quick, just to kind of save ourselves some time, and then we'll go from there. There we go, perfect timing. The sun's coming up. All I did was I ended up going on through putting in all our splitters and mergers. I did all just the Mark 1 conveyor belts just to save ourselves some time, and then I had a little bit more time before the sun came up, so I just kind of started painting some of the ground into the asphalt like I like to have. And we'll see how much of a border I'm going to leave around the outside. But so these are all about screws. And so for the screws line, we are going to need to split this into some sort of mess. Let me just refer back to my notes here. At 75. So we're going to need a Mark II conveyor belt as your manifold line for the input, this is going to be sending our iron ingots. And then the output is going to be, so it starts with 50. So we can go Mark 1 conveyor belt into here, immediately go to Mark 2 because you got 100 coming out of here. 150 would be Mark 3. To 200, which would still be Mark 3. To 250, which would still be Mark 3. Oh, I did this actually the opposite way. Oops. So that would be 50 to 100, Mark 2, 150 would be Mark 3. Mark 3, and then the output is 250. No, the output is 300. So it'll have to be a Mark 4 at the very end, like right here. So same thing for the other side. Mark 2 all the way down. All because I have to do 75. And then same thing here. Remembering to start from this side this time. Mark 1 conveyor belt into a Mark 2. That's 100. That's 150. So we go to Mark 3. 200. 250. 300. There we go. And then, I mean, I guess this one is pretty straightforward. It's just going to be a input hole and an output hole. I still want to be able to see it a little bit though. So let's go like here and here. And then they can just be Mark 1 conveyor belts feeding into this machine because it's not that, I'm going to get a little smaller. It looks a little silly. There's no big numbers going on here, so. Oops. Place that about there. Yeah, outputs 20, intakes 5. Mark 1 conveyor belts. Oh, I forgot to hook up these ones too. So these are 50. They're 12.5 times what? 5? 12.5 times 5. 62.5. So that's wildly unfortunate, but we're gonna have to do Mark 2 conveyor belts. So these ones are only outputting 250, so you actually have to do a Mark 3 conveyor belt coming out at the very end. It doesn't have to be a Mark. Doesn't have to be Mark 4 like the other ones. Here we go. That is all the belt work for the constructor floor. I mean, minus the conveyor holes. So we can go around and pop those in really quick. But I mean, you can kind of put those kind of wherever you want. And then that'll finish up putting down all the belt work for the constructor floor. So I'm going to tick that off and then we'll just kind of skip through doing the conveyor holes. And we'll move on to, we got to go upstairs, do our assembly floor. So the assembly floor is going to be a little bit different, a little bit cleaner. I did one here just as an example. I'm going to do floor holes feeding up from down below and then a floor hole feeding back down the outside. But I still want to be able to see the items coming in and out. So I did leave a little bit of a gap in between the lifts and the machine, just so I can still see the items. You still see a little bit of life going on here. And actually, you know what? I may stretch them out just a little bit further just so you get to see a little bit more. And we're just going to fill all these in going down along here. So we're going to do floor holes for everybody. I guess I'm going to stretch it a little bit further, I think. I'm going to bring them back to... What is this? Is it the middle of a foundation here? Go to the back here. I go to like right here where the foundations meet. Just get a little bit more distance. And then on the back, so that was about 1, 2, 3, about 4 away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's call it right there. So now we're just going to put those all in a line here. That makes it easy to line up by using this little piece back here. A split in the middle of the foundation. And then the same thing on this side. That's what I was using, right? The split of the foundation? Yeah. Just had to double check there. I like being able to see the items as much as possible, but as far as I'm gathering from everybody, the game will run, or you're gonna have a whole lot harder time running the game the more items you kind of have out in the open, the more stuff you see on belts, which is kind of unfortunate because, like I said, I really like seeing all that stuff. Really makes the game feel full, but at the same time, I don't have the greatest PC, and I really want this series to continue moving forward, so we'll work with what we got. So there's all our floor holes there. Do the same thing down the other side. And we'll put in lifts, and I believe most of this, if not everything up here, is small enough amounts that you're basically doing just Mark 1 conveyor belts, except for the screw. I think the screws are a little bit higher than Mark 1 when we're doing the reinforced iron plates. Yeah. Oh yeah, the manifold line for the feeding of the screws would be higher than Mark 1, but still Mark 1 conveyor belts feeding the machines. All right, there we go. Just kind of skipped ahead a little bit because otherwise this episode is going to be 17 hours long. We have all our machines hooked up here, fed by Mark 1 conveyor belts, feeding into Mark 1 conveyor belts. The numbers up here are small enough that everything's going to be fine. The only thing you need to consider is down below, where we're going to actually have to build some of the manifold lines. I guess we don't have to build manifold lines, but where the manifold lines would go, you're going to be splitting them off to feed some of these, and that's going to be more than a Mark 1 conveyor belt. But I did it this way because I think this looks really nice and clean. It's got a really nice even split, so I feel like coming up here and walking down the middle here is going to be really cool, especially if we get some cool lighting going. I've got all this extra space over here, but that's totally fine. And now I just need to finish doing the all the holes and stuff over on this side. So we're gonna do the same thing we've been doing, where you get a little bit extra distance. About there and there. We need to go a little further on this backside. We got extra space to work with. Why not? Got extra space. Let's use it. Is that? I was gonna say, I don't think that's lined up at all. Not even close. That one? That one's fine. That one is not. And that one's fine. Okay. Oh, right. I remember now. Because these ones are like slightly off. So we gotta nudge it in position, hold down control. There we go. Same thing here. Hold it in position, nudge with control. Bam. There we go. we'll just hook up all the lifts. Oh wait, I'm gonna do the holes on this side. Almost forgot. All right. I have to do the same thing for these ones. They'll be nudged into position. This is what I get for wanting things to be perfect. What? How could that possibly be overlapping something? What is down there that is overlapping? Here we go. Okay, so now we'll do lifts and conveyor belts. And then we can do our power montage. Who's excited? I'm excited. Oh my god, there's so many machines to hook up. This is gonna be insane. I probably won't show literally the entire part of the power montage, but I'll just cut up and do like, we'll just show through some highlights. And there we are. We have all of our assemblers hooked up here on the assembly floor. This floor looks really cool. Everything looks very neat and tidy up here. I like it. Then you go down to this floor. Things get a little bit crazier, but I think it still looks great. And it'll be a very action-packed floor. So you'll see a lot of stuff going on, which I think will be really fun. And then you come down here and we get our smelter floor, which I haven't done the logistics holes or anything for this part yet. Because I'm trying to decide if I'm going to send it back down or if I'm just going to send them up to the floor above. Like, so say when they come out and just go straight up, or send them out down and then, I don't know, bring it all over here and send it up through like an item elevator type thingy. And I guess I have the room for it back here, so I can always do that. But for now, let's do the power montage. All right, power montage complete. Let's go ahead and go back into... Oh no, let's place some more belts. Just kidding. I did have to take a little break here for dinner, but that's okay. This episode will take a little longer to record than I thought. I did go ahead and link the miners together because we need one line of 300, then another line of 300. Ouch. Then this is technically 280. Mislabeled this. 280. And then our line of 320. So the way it's going to work is it's going to, obviously I can't split it perfectly and I didn't want to go through the hassle of, you know, doing a perfect load balance. So what it's going to do, it's going to work based on backing itself up because we need a total of 600 to come from these four. But what it's going to do is it's going to hit this splitter right here. It's going to send some of it off to go to this line, which will make it a slightly higher number as it'll pull slightly more. And then the rest will go to feed down this way because it'll pull slightly less at 280. So it should work, I think, hopefully. Now we just need to go ahead and connect all these miners to the smelters. So we do have the logistical floor, or the logistics floor for the for where all the smelters need to be fed is right here. So I've also got the caterium, 180 caterium here, and then the copper over here at 260. I didn't bother changing the item labels because I'm going to take these signs away, but so this is the copper that I still need to actually bring up from down below. And then this is the caterium here. Both of these are going to run all the way down there to where you can kind of see those lifts that I have over there. Those are for the inputs. I think it inputs and the inputs and no. Yeah. Inputs and outputs. Can't remember. Anyway, those are for the caterium and copper lines. So we're going to go ahead and do those first. And then we'll worry about bringing all the iron over. It's going to be a total of 4 lines we're going to bring over. So I think I'll probably just bring them this way. Either hug them along the wall here, bring them along the ceiling. And I think that'll leave me the free space. Actually, maybe I might put them over here. And that'll give me the free space to bring some items down here for the truck stations over there. Because the truck station holes are over there in the ceiling. Okay, so for the caterium, pretty easy. At 180, we're going to need to use a Mark III conveyor belt. And we're just going to end up bringing this all the way over to this foundation here and run it all the way down there. Not to it, the yellow is just because of the sign, but I'll move the sign at some point, so that's okay. Is that in the right spot? It is, okay. So we're going to go caterium belt. Now we're going to run it all the way down here. I could have made that one longer, but that's okay. Oops. Oh. Oh no. Misclicked. There we go. So the caterium is all the way in the back. This is the copper right here. So I wanted to make sure I left enough space. And make sure I'm going to the right one. I believe the caterium input is right there. Correct. Don't want to hook up to the wrong one. That'd be funny. And wildly unfortunate. The copper is actually super simple. It's only the one input that goes to this feed right here. So we're just going to go grab another Mark III conveyor belt. This is 260. It's going to move 270. So we're just going to bring this down. Like that. That worked out perfectly. I didn't even mean to line those up like that, but it worked out just how I wanted it to. So that is all the copper fed and dealt with. That is all the caterium dealt with. So now we can move on to bringing all that iron over. I say all, and it's really just 4 lines. Let's figure out where they need to go. So these are my inputs. I know these are my inputs. I kept them closer. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. I just need to figure out which one's which. And then we'll feed the lines to the corresponding one. Alright, y'all, we're getting creative. I'm going to run this 300 line up this back wall here, across along the ceiling. I'm going to leave this open, so that's fine to run that across there. This one I ran down along the side here. I'll have like a little walkway up and over just so I can get around down there if I need to. These two, I'm just going to bring, and then so I ran it over there, brought it to there. That's another line of 300. The 280 and 320, I'm going to send to about this area. So I actually just ended up bringing them straight up from their merger lines. So now I'm just going to bring them along the ceiling here. Game's going to be nice to me. There we go. Come on. I'm going to move these power lines in a minute, so it's not a big deal for now. Just need to get these into position. There we go. I did it. Just had to nudge it into place. So now we have our lines of 280, 320. I have to figure out which one's which again. This is my 280. That's my 320. This is my 300. My 300. So, Jesus, those four are gonna have to feed these. Each one is gonna go to one of these 4 holes down here. So we're gonna figure out which one goes to the corresponding one here. Did I leave my signs? I did, thank goodness. So it looks like the very first one in the line is going to be the 320. So let's take care of that one first. That would be right here. So we're going to grab a Mark IV conveyor lift. We're going to bring that down. Let's do it. Let's do it straight in like this. Nice and easy. So let's bring the 320. This is the 320. Not the ceiling mount. It'd be funny though. Mark IV conveyor belt. Let's keep it in the sky. Why not? Keep it in the sky until we get there. I mean, technically we could just keep it out in the sky the whole way. I would just have to reset this this lift. Like that. Find the green line, wherever it is. I saw it there for a second. There it is. 1, 2. There we go. So that is the 320 line fed now. Yeah, it's probably nice to have that up out of the way. We can walk around down here nice and easily. That's Caterium done. That's the first line of iron done. Then, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the 280. It was right after. Which one are you? Oh, you're a 300. Was it 300 and 300? Yep. So 300, 300, and then 280. So since we know we need 300s, we're going to grab our Mark... Well, they all need Mark IV conveyor lifts. So for this one, I'm going to bring it down... I'm going to bring this one right down to the ground. I think. Actually, no. I'm going to do it like... ceiling... facing that way. I think this one's technically already on the ceiling. It is, okay. I'm gonna bring this over there. I'm gonna do the turn again, which was oh so much fun last time. There we go. So we're gonna bring this along. Where are we at here? There we are. So we're in line with that one. Hopefully it'll give me a green line to go off of. Maybe. Maybe. No? Why not? Oh, no, I went way past it. No green line? Hang on. Maybe if I build a piece first. Oh, there we go. I see it. 1, 2. Nailed it. Okay, that is another line of iron hooked up and ready to go. Grab our next line of 400. Bring it over here so it's along the wall. Should be in the right spot? Yep. That way. We're going to run it alongside the caterium here. Just to keep it kind of neat and tidy. Neat and tidy-ish, I guess. Oops. Okay, so it has to go to that hole right there. Which I will bring it down. Gotta figure where we're coming from. Right there. Oh, the autosave. I was like, what's happening? It's slowing down. Okay, here we go. Oh, when the day comes to finally turn this whole factory on, it's going to feel so good. It's also going to take probably 17 years to actually have it back up on some of the manifold lines. She's a big factory. There's a lot of items flying through here. Okay, and then the last one is the belt of 280. Which I'm going to have to run along the ceiling. And then I have to run it out and around this one. That's okay. Okay, there we go. That is my belt of 280 hooked up. I just ran along the ceiling here. Kind of zigzagged in between. Ran it alongside some of the other belts. Turned out to be pretty nice and clean. Then I can still get around here for any sort of maintenance I need to do. And I mean, also at some point there's going to be a few more belts added to this floor. I mean, not only we have the outputs here that I still need to deal with and send those over to here. This is my item elevator that I've installed. It's going to send everything up from all the smelters to underneath all the constructors. So all of these constructors are getting fed from these. Well, I mean, some of the constructors feed each other, but I think, right? Like, yeah, some of the constructors feed each other, but most of the constructors are fed, like the base items that are all smelted will come from this line right here. I've split it up to where I think it's a Mark III in the middle, 2 Mark IVs on the outside of that, and then it's like a 2 and a 1 on the very outside of those. Okay, that is miners to smelters done off our to-do list. Finally. This episode is taking me forever. So now we just need to do the smelters to constructors, which basically means running the outputs of here into these. So I'm just gonna run through that really quick. I'm gonna skip over actually putting them in, but I'll go over which belts are which once we're about to move on, and then we will be moving on to hooking up all these constructors. What a good time that's gonna be. All right, good timing. The sun is coming up. I added on this this bit off the back side that I'm going to use for setting things between the floors, like so So when things are all done up here, I can send them over here and back down. And then vice versa, like same thing, like some of the things on the constructor floor are just going to get sent back down to the basement. So I may have to add potentially some more space on somewhere. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's more space over here on the back side of the hallway where I'll be able to stick some things in. And I'll be able to send them between floors in between here. It's not a lot of space, but I mean, I'll definitely be making use of it because we're going to have to send quite a few items around. I have 12 items once, like through this whole thing, there's 12 items produced that need to be sent over to those truck stations. So we're going to have to figure out where to put stuff. Also, now that we're on daytime, we are at, I'll go over the belts really quick. So the one here on the left is a Mark III, and it's Mark IV. This is copper, iron. This is your Caterium. That's the Mark I. Then more iron on Mark IV. And then a Mark II for the other copper. And that is the item elevator. Then we gotta hook all these up. Let's go. So we're going to make this a lot easier on ourselves, and a lot of this is going to be done via manifold systems. I mean, if you want to take the time to balance them all out, by all means. I just unfortunately don't really have time right now, and I want to see this factory up and running. I don't want it to be 10 episodes. So we're going to go ahead and set up figure out where our lines need to be, and then we'll split these up accordingly. So I know that all my copper and Caterium goes over here. So I'll get those just kind of right out of the way. I'll bring them up to the roof. That would be this one. And this one. And this one. So let's do the Caterium first. So we're going to go ahead and grab our Mark I lift here. We're going to bring it all the way up to the ceiling. And then I'm going to drag a conveyor belt along the ceiling. And then we're going to drop it down into a splitter here, which we're going to put down right now. We're going to grab our splitter right in line with the rest of these. And then we'll grab the Mark I conveyor belt. We'll attach it here. There we go. Caterium hooked up, ready to go. That'll be that's all our quick wire. All our inputs for the quick wire anyway. Now we can do the copper. Copper is all these ones over here. Okay, so I was just doing my math for what belts I need to hook up to which. So I'm going to be hooking this machine, these constructors, and these constructors up to the line that pumps out 170, because this is 120 for those 6, and then it's another 50 for these 3. So I'm going to make sure I put in the correct things here. I'm just going to cut the holes away so I know which ones I'm feeding. And then I can hook them up from below. So many belts to do. Okay, so these 3 are the ones for the 170 line of copper. I'm going to put a splitter right here in front of this one. And then I'll line it up. It's weird. Oh well. And then so I'm going to split it evenly. There, and here. And it's going to get fed from over here. This Mark III conveyor lift. Mark III conveyor belt. Bring our conveyor belt over. Directly into the splitter like that. And then I think it can just be, I think it can be Mark I conveyor, or Mark I's feeding each line. So I believe it's at most 60. So we'll get this sent over. That should be all, or the 3 copper lines hooked up now. And then the other one is the 90. And those are going to go to these 2 back here. Well, these 2 sets. This set of 2 and this set of 4. Okay, so this one I'm also going to raise up to the ceiling. Oops. Click too fast. I'm also going to raise this one to the ceiling just so I can leave all the actual like ground space for the iron that's going to have to come through here. So we're going to go ceiling with that one. Mark 2 conveyor belt. We're going to run it all the way over to these 2 that I'm also going to raise back up to the ceiling. Now that I've realized what I actually want to do. And this way should leave plenty of space for moving everything else around. Alright, there we go. I brought it over all the way on the ceiling and then I dropped it back down because I forgot I needed to put it into splitters. Or a splitter at least. Because I didn't want to just have a splitter floating in the sky. So now that is all of our copper done hooked up. All of our copper done and hooked up. Jesus, what happened on my visit to Florida is rubbing off on me. I'm just kidding. So now we can hook up all of our iron stuff. And that'll be all our inputs done at least. And then we can worry about all our outputs. The iron is going to be not too bad. It's just going to hit a bunch of splitters and feed all of these. I just got to figure out what's the input holes for everything. And then I can feed everything from there. Alright, so the first ones I'm doing, it's a little bit unfortunate I split it up this way. But these are for all the ones doing rods. The group of 7, the 2 groups of 7 and the group of 8. So you got 2 inputs right here. Perfect, great. Other input all the way over here. It was a little bit of a whoopsie on my part. But that's okay. Not really a big deal. Shouldn't really block too many things. I may just have to, once it's over here, maybe raise it up and out of the way. And then we'll just bring it over along the ceiling. Alright, first line of iron hooked up, ready to go. Let's go ahead and skip on ahead a little bit. We're running a bit long on runtime here. If I run into any problems to let you guys know. But we still have the 2 300 lines here to hook up and the line of 280. The line of 280 is going to run all the way down to the screw section over there. So worst case scenario, I think I'm probably going to run it maybe parallel along here somewhere and try and just keep it out of the way. There we go. Handful of belts and splitters later, I have officially accomplished smelters to constructors. I can take that off our to-do list. Thank the sweet Lord baby Jesus. Smelters to constructors done. Excellent. This factory's starting to look real nice. Our little logistics floor that'll still fill up even more down here. I think this item elevator is going to look really cool. I got some ideas from you guys in the Discord that I'm going to be implementing here to hopefully show it off a little bit better this time. So make sure you stay tuned for the cosmetics episodes to get a good look at these. So inputs to the smelters is done. Outputs or inputs, well, outputs slash inputs for the constructors from the smelters is all done. So now we got to do all the constructors, or not, well, not all the constructors, but some of the constructors to the assemblers. And then some of the constructors are going to go to down back towards the truck station. I don't think I'm actually going to get to that this episode, unfortunately. I think I'll start that off the next one where we're actually like getting ready to turn everything on. I will run all the conveyor belt lines over to the actual truck station. But for today, let's make sure we at least get the constructors hooked up to the constructors actually that need to be done. And then anything else that needs to go upstairs to feed the assemblers, we can do that. And then there's actually assemblers that need to feed assemblers, so. Thankfully, though, that'll at least bring us to the end. And we can take a little break before next episode where we'll be finally actually firing this monster factory on. So let's start off at the top of my planner and work my way down. So we have the constructors up here doing the quick wire. Oops, that's not supposed to be there. There we go. So yeah, the quick wire, the 200, the set of 200 here, they are going to be going down to storage. But this one, the one that does 100, this is going to be going upstairs. Oh, I actually already put one on here. How about that? Look at me pre-planning it out. So I have this whole area dedicated, you know, left with space still to be filled in with a frame around it. But knowing that I have, what is it, like a 4x3 platform to use to send all these around, should be plenty of space. Okay, so I'm going to start for this one. I'm going to put the conveyor hole kind of towards the back side here. Place this one right here. And then this is just 100. It's a Mark II conveyor belt. What happened there? What is happening? Oh, there we go. I was like, what's happening? And now it's not low enough. Like, shit's fall apart. There we go. Okay, so that'll bring the 100 quick wire up to the top here. Oh, I need to put another hole here. Like that. And like that. Oh, this isn't filled in all the way either. Embarrassing myself. Okay, so that'll be the quick wire brought up to the assembler's floor. And I'm pretty sure literally all that does is just goes right into here. So we'll go ahead and we'll hook up the rest of this part, because this should be nice and easy. Okay, the other input for the AI limiters is the copper sheets. So that one I will do right beside it. Why not, if I can? I guess it'll determine where I can bring it in from. It's the 25 copper sheets. So that would be not that one, not that one, not that one. Which one is it? Oh, it's these three over here, isn't it? Oh, the one I never cut a hole for. How about that? There we go. Now it's got a hole. So we got to get that all the way over there. So for now, keep it up in the ceiling. And then we will hook it up over here. So I guess this is also an output. So it also has to go over here. So let's do this one as like the second one in, and then it shouldn't cross over anyone else. So this will be the first. Just gonna put it there for now, so it's there. Let's see how many of those I can actually like fit on a block. I mean, four without being, it looks like four without being like too intrusive on each other. So we'll do that. Let's go. First one there. Second one here. Wait, that's not, that's not how that works. I also need them up above. There we go. This would be lifting them up. Actually, no, that first output of copper sheets, that's going to go straight down. That actually doesn't need to come up. But this one does. So I can just face it that way. Because yeah, that one's just going to go straight down. That'll be the copper sheets that I use for crafting. Okay, so now we can actually hook this up to here. And feed, what was it? This piece. Yeah, it was this one. We're going to bring it around. That one is the one that's going to go first. To a hole right there. So actually, yeah, this hole doesn't exist at all. Just goes down. I mean, I guess I could go up if I needed to. So we'll leave that space open if we need it. So yeah, that one goes up. That is copper sheets I need for the AI limiters. And then, yeah, we'll kind of go from there. I have literally been placing belts for like 5 hours. Not straight. I took a break for dinner and some other stuff, but that was so much more than I thought it was going to be. So I've ended up just cutting a bunch of it out. I'll just highlight a little bit of what I did. In a couple spots, I ended up adding a little spot that stuck out just so I didn't have to run as many belts just like all the way across the building. It made it a lot easier to just run some of them down this way. So most of the ones that go all the way down, which is mainly these three on the end right here, these are going to be eventually sent in the next episode. I've got them all ready to go, collected together. They're going to be sent over to our truck stations. And then if you come on over here to the very end, so we got all our smelters being fed from our miners down below. And then all those smelters are feeding into the item elevator number 1. This one you are going to be able to see. I think you might be able to see this one. I don't know if I'm going to have this one. I think I'll have this one visible. And then there's another one. If you come down here, you guys think I like item elevators? Who would have thought? There's another item elevator on this side. I had another little part sticking out. So these are all coming down. These are all the items that are going to be sent over to the truck station as well. These are a mix of coming from the assembler floor, which is the assembler's logistics floor, which is right there. And then a mix of some of the stuff from the constructor floor. Yes, this is a little bit of a mess, and you can kind of do that if you're setting this up. Feel free to kind of set up the belts in whatever way you find the coolest. I just kind of put them in where I figured, you know, they would fit nicely. Everyone got nice right angle turns. And there should still be enough room to move through here for any sort of maintenance I may need to do. Just have to put in a few walkways here and there. Put in a bunch of lighting. Probably not so much on the logistics. I'll put in like some lighting on the logistics floor. I probably won't worry too much about the actual like cosmetics of those floors. But these floors that have like all the item elevators and everything, and then you come up to the even the constructor floor will have a little item elevator over here. We just need to adjust these a little wee bit. That's going to, oh yeah, I just have to turn this one. I can't actually move them though, just because it gets a little complicated down here. There's probably a better way of doing it, but so yeah, that is everything that we're going to need now. Everything is hooked up. Everything from the smelter floor is hooked up, feeds up into the constructor's logistics floor. Channels are in and out. Oh, the one thing I did forget to mention, and you guys probably noticed partway through, you're like, hey Sheffrey, where are the cables, man? Well, I forgot. I ended up putting them here. They ended up squishing in nicely right next to the wire. So it has actually a really nice, easy feed in and out of those machines. So those are all actually hooked up now. I just couldn't believe, I was like, wait, I was going to do the output and I was like, hey, where are my cables? And I was like, oh my God, I don't have any cables. But now we do. So if you come up here, this is the logistics floor for the assemblers. This one was actually nice and super easy, super clean. Everyone got a whole bunch of splitters, kind of split down the middle like this. I just turned them to face different directions. And this one is the reason this one looks kind of funny is this is the screws, but this is 500 screws that need to feed these 5 machines, and it's 250 each. So I have 250 coming on this belt line, 250 coming on this belt line, and they feed a splitter, and then a merger, and then the same thing happens to the other 250 lines. So it's like splitter, merger. So overall, it'll balance out to 250 each. Basically means this one pulls 25 from each one. And coming down over here, we have our reinforced iron plates and our modular frames. This is the modular frames, I believe, right here. Because yeah, it looks like it just gathers all together and then downstairs it goes. Whereas over on this side, it gathers together. Actually, well, these ones I haven't actually done yet, but these are the 4 that'll be combined together just for crafting. And then these ones, the other 6, these feed into this line over here, which actually feeds the assemblers on this side for the modular frames. I end up doing it where all my screws also come up just from this side, so that it was a lot easier. I did like a sort of logistics floor here, just above the hallway. Obviously I can't really go any lower, but it at least it let me move the screws around without having to send them across the whole factory and then back again. That would have been kind of silly. So now they're all just right here, localized. I got a lot of extra space. Next room for activities. Maybe I might fill it in at some point, but I got it all nice and clean. I got it all filled in. My eyes hurt, and I think that's a good place to finish off this episode. Hopefully I can edit it down again to a nice little something you guys can watch and follow along with. This one definitely took me probably 3-4 times longer than I thought it was going to, but man, that belt work really adds up. So I think we're definitely going to be working on some blueprints in the future, so we can maybe speed some of this up in on our next big builds. But I'm really liking how this is coming together. So now we have all of our belts hooked up, and the only thing left, I think I mentioned, is just sending everything to the truck stations. And once these are all hooked up to the truck stations, we can fire this bad boy on. So next episode is going to be hooking them up to the truck stations, setting up the storage, like drop off at base, to which I'll probably just hook them all up to a bunch of awesome sinks for now until I actually get the real proper storage thing set up. But I'll get like the truck storage drop area done, and then we can fire this whole factory on and we can finally see what it's all about. We'll definitely have like a long highlight at the end for sure, once we're done all the cosmetics and everything too. And then I may even just make like when we do these bigger factories, I may even make just like a I don't know, we'll do like a short highlight video, like separately, for people that maybe don't want to watch the 6-7 hours this is probably going to take me to put the whole factory together. They can just watch like a little 10-minute, 15-minute highlight. But anyway, thank you guys again so much for hanging out with me for another episode. Like I said, next time we're going to get into finally firing this bad boy on. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And then we're going to get into making this place all nice and pretty. It's definitely going to take me a couple episodes to pull that one off because we got a lot of space to fill in. But either way, I'll see you guys in the next one.